as we just talked, as you just brought that up, third-party data works really, really well in a cookie sync world, right? And you mentioned, we talked a little bit about cookie deprecation, privacy, but it works well in a cookie sync world. How is the deprecation of third-party cookies going to change the landscape for third-party data assets in your mind?
Yeah, for sure. It's a great question. I think where there's still a lot of value, right? I think the question is, which data sets from which data assets, right, are going to be most important to you, which, identity companies are going to work with, or which are essentially in many cases the same company. Those things are still powerful. The way that you activate that data starts becoming different. In the past, you had, an easy way, right, which is a cookie sync, a third-party cookie sync. So you're able to say, maybe you're making a couple leaps, but you're able to say, hey, this is Bill Parliament. I know what's about him. Here's this cookie sync. Here's this cookie ID we have on him. Serve him the ad because he's, in market for XYZ. So, when third-party cookies no longer enable that, it just changes how you can monetize that data. If you have, Bill's mobile ID, as long as you've said, allow app to track on some of the more recent things, perhaps you will get some of the ads, through that way. So there's one way that can be monetized. There are other places that say, hey, if you give me information, you onboard, PII into my platform, I will do my best to try to find these audiences or these people or these aspects of my identity graph. So it changes it. It makes it not as easy, right? It becomes more fragmented, but it does not fully disable the power of these third-party data assets and these third-party identity frameworks. It just means that you, as an agency or an advertiser or a media company, you just have to think more critically and maybe think about how you could strategically deploy that, knowing that it might be different, in the last 20 years than it probably is going forward.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, really right now you're okay, but in the future, you just need to prepare for the future and what might be happening, correct?
Yeah, exactly. And just think about, hey, I used this source, this way in the last 20 years, and now I need to maybe just think about, I use it in a different way.